I do a bit of the old-fashioned way where I go and I get the score, or I find the libretto online, because I just feel like it's easier to read the libretto and just get an idea of what's being said, about whom and who is saying it. Because I feel like, back in the old, when I was in school, you just, you get, your teacher gives you a piece, you go and listen to it, or maybe you already know it, you find the music, you look for the highest note that's in there, you see how many they have, and you're like, oh, great, I can do this. And that's fine, that's one way to go about it. But you end up then having to backtrack and learn a bunch of things, or unlearn and then relearn correctly a bunch of things. So I have the luxury now of being able to do it and know what my schedule is going to be like a long time in advance. And so that's why, say for Les Huguenots, I'm already working on it, knowing that the rehearsals are in 8 months, because I don't want to jam it in. I just don't want to kind of have to cram it and then not remember part or learn things incorrectly because I just was doing it too quickly. It's much better just I take things scene by scene. Once I know what it's going, once I know the story and what's happening, then I take only my parts and I just write it all down in a book, and then I break them down. It's either a 1-page scene, a 2-page scene, a 4-page scene, and then from there I start to say, okay, well, I've got 3 days that I'm pretty free right now between shows or something. I'm going to work only on this scene. And so then I do that. I just make sure, obviously, you got to do the translations. This is all, if you don't have that, I don't know what you're doing. You can't do anything because you don't really understand what you're saying and what's being said to you. And that's not just the gist, because so much of the way that the composer set the text is implied, and then it's not just straightforward. Sometimes it's ironic, and if you don't even know what you're saying, all this is lost. So I do that and I break it down, and if I was like, okay, I'll do this 2-page scene here, and so I'll work on that, and then I will, once I have it pretty good in my throat and in my head, I will get with the pianist and work on that, say, for an hour or 2 hours, and then put it away, and then go to the next one, and I work through a whole roll like that. And then I usually put it away because I have to focus on something else. And then I come back to it in a couple of weeks. And in those 2 weeks, certain things have sunk in and kind of become part of my memory. And the things that haven't, then I go back and I just review them over there, because for some reason, all the things and all the times that are really tricky, or there's like a tongue twister, phrase or something, this ends up being the time where the director's going to ask you to do something crazy, and you just can't do them both at once. So I just don't leave any kinks in the armor anymore, because they will be exploited somehow. I just don't know. The universe, whatever it is, somehow they figure out a way to make it not work. So that's what I do. And I have a coach. Laurent comes and we work a week at a time, and we usually work 2 roles, or we work 1 new role and we revisit 2 other roles. And that gives us enough variety within the week to keep the voice moving up and down, flexible, usually 1 French, 1 Italian, and then something else.
Okay.
Yeah.